Hi there, Simon Atkins here from Perth Property Investments. Welcome along to my 3-video series, Coach to Success, and I hope you stick around because if you are someone with a short attention span, which is most people are going to turn this video off probably within the first 30 seconds or so, but you can do that if you're not interested in learning how to generate wealth through property investment. Now, I can help you with this. I've been investing for 23 years now, but there is one caveat, and that caveat is that you actually believe that property can get you to where you want to go. Because if you don't believe in the thing that you want to invest in, if you don't believe that it can do that for you, then you're never going to invest in it. You're never going to do anything about it, and you're going to waste the next 10 minutes of your life here listening to me. So if you don't believe that, then you might as well switch it off. If you do, however, want to learn how to invest in property the right way and take my experience over more than 2 decades of investing in property right here in Perth, then stick around and I'll show you exactly what it is that you need to do to extract what you need from the asset. So look, if you're someone that you feel like you just kind of got nose to the grindstone, you're kind of working hard and you're just paying the bills and you're putting food on the table, you're not really getting anywhere, you might be paying more tax than you'd rather like to, then the reason is because you're not utilizing your income. You're not making your income work for you. And if you don't do that, then you'll never have any way of swapping yourself. You are the income earner. There's never going to be any way of swapping you as the income earner for something else that's going to generate a passive income for you. So that's really, really important, and you have to do that while you're working and generating a taxable income as well and paying tax. So if that's something you want to learn about, then I can definitely help you with that. You might be asking, why is this guy, why does he think that he can help me? Well, like I said, I've been in the game a very long time and I've been very successful at it. My wife and I created a multi-million-dollar property portfolio over a number of years, and we did it when we started off. I was on a low wage and she was probably on like a median kind of wage at the time, so nothing great. We didn't have any great head start at all. We got back from travelling, so we were in a little bit of debt, in fact, when we first got back to Perth. So I can tell you that anyone can do this. It's possible. You just have to make your income work for you. There's huge amount of benefits from property investment. We had over $300,000 at one time worth of tax credits. So they're things that you can offset future income against, which is absolutely fantastic. So you know that next $300,000 you're not going to pay any tax against. We made around about probably a little bit over $1 million just in 1 year by positioning ourselves with our property investments, and I'll show you how to do that. And the other thing is that we paid little or no tax for many years. Now, there's nothing untoward about that. It's just the benefits that the government give you because you are investing in property and you're helping somebody else into a place that isn't theirs. So lots of benefits with property investment, and that's why it's an asset class that anyone, I think, should be interested in. And of course, it's really about understanding how to get what you want out of that asset. So today I'm going to go over quickly the higher level of what you need to know. But just before I touch on that, it's really important to know that what you need to understand is that what I just said before. As you are a worker, this is phase 1. So it's a 2-phase process. During phase 1, as you're working and you're generating income and you're paying tax, you need to use these years, while you're doing this, to leverage into property and so that you utilize your income and you're making it busy, and you need to use your tax as well, because probably it's just bleeding out at the moment and you're not getting anything for it. So not the best way to be. I know you probably, when you look at your paycheck every month and you see the amount of tax goes out, you're probably not too thrilled about it. So you need to utilize this time, and this is what I'm going to teach you, so that when it comes to phase 2, when it comes to this side of the equation, you've got enough assets and property that are going to generate the income for you. So they're going to replace you, these assets are going to replace you as the worker. At the moment, you're swapping your time for money to generate income, and then at this point, you're going to have your income working hard enough for you so that the assets are going to do that on your behalf. So that's pretty cool. So that's what we're going to learn how to do. So the next thing I'm going to touch on is basically you need to understand the high level way that the asset itself delivers you what it's going to give you. So I'll use a metaphor to try and explain that. So if someone came and gave me some apple seeds, and they knew I wanted an apple tree and I wanted to grow my own apples, and they gave me some apple seeds and I wanted to put them in the ground, I planted them in the ground, and I came back 2 weeks later and I'm looking for my apple tree. I'm going, well, where's my apple tree? I don't see an apple tree, I don't see any apples. And I'm digging around in the ground looking for these apples and I can't see them anywhere. Then I've got a basic lack of understanding as to what these seeds are going to do for me. Right? A fundamental misunderstanding as to how these seeds are going to give me what I want. And in that same way, most people fail at this because they don't understand how the asset class is going to give them what they want. Okay, so that is absolutely fundamental to, and that's at the highest level that you need to understand. So that's why I'm going to touch on this today. So first of all, I'm just going to get this off the board, and we're going to go through that so that you fully understand what you need to know as an investor at the highest level. Okay, so this is my graph. Okay, so if we've got time along here, and these are the years 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years and into the future, and down here we've got growth. Okay, so if you were to buy a property today, ultimately over time you want it to go up in value. Okay, and obviously you benefit by the increase in value. That's where you really generate what it is you want out of it. Okay, by the increased value. If it was 400 there and it's worth 700 a few years down here later, you know, you've made 300 grand. That's fantastic. That's what you're obviously trying to do. That's the big benefit out of property, is the growth. So what we're trying to do here though is obviously it's not like a straight line. It'll go a little bit like this. Okay, something like that until it ends up here. It doesn't matter what it does between here and here, as long as it gets down here at some point, okay, which is driven by supply and demand. So the magic here, and Einstein called this the eighth wonder, he's so excited about it, he called it the eighth wonder of the world, is compounding. And that's what property does, it compounds. So if you don't really understand what compounding is, it's like a snowball rolling down a hill. You know, it compounds the snow because it's compounding, it's putting snow on top of snow on top of snow. So in the first rotation, that snowball would get only a small amount of snow on it. But by the time it's rotated 30, 40, 50 times, 100 times, that last rotation it's picked up a whole lot of snow, even though it's one rotation, just because of the amount of snow that's been packed on before it. And in the same way, as property grows in value, it has this compounding effect, okay, which is greater than just a return that you might get a dividend and just gets paid off to you 1 year after year after year. So it's compounding on top of the previous growth. So what it ends up looking like is this, and this is where we got to that point where we earned around about $1 million in 1 year. So once you start getting into here, it starts becoming exponential. So time, you need time to be able to give you the compounding, because if you want the snowballing effect, so we'd say, if you're looking at it as an equation, you'd say time plus compounding equals, okay, and I'll fill that in a minute, but it becomes a J-curve. Why does it become a J-curve? Because it's the snowball. It's smaller here and it grows smaller, but as it compounds and the snow on top of the snow, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So any growth you get here, the value's got to such a point, any growth that you get in here becomes a big number, dollar number back to you, because it's been allowed to get to such a large point. So the problem is though, most people don't realise that you need the time to then get the compounding, to then get the exponential growth. And the exponential growth, spelled it right, exponential growth. The exponential growth comes from allowing it to run over time. So most people actually sell out of their investment property in around 2 or 3 years, and about that point there. And as you can see, you get no benefit from compounding. Even if you had a good 2 years, for example, you had a cracking 2 years and somebody sold it and got out of it, they still haven't accessed the magic of the compounding effect, which is really going to pay you massive dividends. So most other people will opt out because they don't get any growth in 2 years' time, and then they feel like it's a waste of time and they're not getting anywhere. So the whole point that you need to understand is that property delivers its growth at certain times, and you need to position yourself. So when the growth comes, when the growth is actually there, you're positioned to benefit from it as much as you can. So much like if you were a surfer and you were standing on the sand with the board under your arm and you're expecting to get the next great wave that comes through, it's not going to happen when you're standing on the beach with the board under your arm. You need to be out in the back of the waves there, back of the swell, waiting, sitting on your board, waiting for that wave to come, so you're prepped up and you're ready to catch that wave. And in the same way with property, as the wave comes, you need to be there, you need to be in the market, prepped up and ready to go, so that you run with that market as it grows. All right, it's not going to grow every single year. It's going to grow some years, other years it might go back a bit, other years it'll just flatten out. But when the growth cycles come, you need to be there. And most people get this wrong, because even when the growth cycle comes, what they'll want to do is pile in at the top of the market when the outlook is the worst and you're paying the most for the property. So this is the overall equation. I'm getting a little bit in detail there, but this is the overall equation here that you need to run so that you understand exactly what you're doing with your property. You need to understand that you need time. It's a time thing. It's the long game. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. To access the time will give you the compounding, and the compounding will give you the exponential growth. Okay, so that's super important. It's the long game. There's no get-rich-quick strategies. If you ever find one, let me know, but I haven't found one, and I've listened to a lot of other people that have been very successful, and wealth is about something that you generate over a period of time. But you have to start, and you have to start accessing and getting into that compounding phase. Okay, so in my next video, that's the end of the first one. In my next video, stick around, because I'll be showing you how you can save 20 to 25% of your tax bill pretty easily with property investment, and that'll be in the next video, so make sure you tune in for that. You'll be getting that probably in the next day or so in your inbox. So right under the video here, I've got an offer for you too. So if you'd like to have a one-on-one free consult with me, just read below the video here, check it out, and if that's something that you feel like, we can have a phone conversation to see where you're at. You just need to click on the button right at the bottom of the page here, and I'd love to be able to talk to you. Okay, that's it for video one. I look forward to seeing you in the next video in a day or so's time. Okay, bye for now.